Hi, host Eric here, host Talking with Famous People, and I am a person who hangs out with a lot of 25 to 30-year-olds. I know, it's weird. Not only that, there are plenty of people who are over 30 here as well, but I've noticed that perhaps because of an implicit youngness to my heart,
You
that
can
I
only do
hang
one
out
at a
with
time.
lots of 25 to 30-year-olds. And one thing I've noticed is a sense amongst the intuitives, of whom I almost
Wow.
exclusively hang out, of a lack of
I'm an
existential
ENTP.
directionality. So,
Actually, I feel like that's more convincing than you being an INTP.
What is?
Me being an ENTP.
I can't hear you. It's so quiet.
Do I have to speak louder? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I'm like going deaf, I think. So it's okay.
Hey.
No, I think my mic sucks.
hey,
You're more convinced I'd be what?
It's more convincing for me to be an ENTP than you to be an INTP.
How?
You're not an INTP, man.
Because I fucking am. I've typed as INTP several times.
I've typed as ENTP several times. It doesn't mean I'm an ENTP.
yeah, so angstiness. Do you feel angsty,
Well,
Liz?
You're the only one that basically FEs with me here. You realize
Can
that,
anybody
right?
hear me?
I could be an FE subtype. I mean, I have kids, so I have to like
FE
do some
subtype of an
emotional stuff.
INTP? That doesn't even make any sense.
That's not TI.
Obviously, nobody can hear me.
Why they don't want to be a type?
It's just
Hey, I'll be
boring because everyone
be-
thinks that INFJs are like some spiritual fucking gurus. There's a lot of pressure to be an INFJ. Those be an INTP.
There's a lot of guys who be on TV. Like
I'm gonna be an ISTJ now. I kind of want my life together, so like that's what I'm gonna pick my type like you. I'm gonna pick an ISTJ. That's what you're doing, right? You're picking a type that you think is easier.
You know what? There's actually an ISTJ on YouTube that has the same. What?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Earlier, apparently, I was unhearable or seeable or something, but I actually started a video a while back on the angst of the 25 to 30-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
It's still recording. I think you guys are displaying that angst right now. A desire to have life manifest in some way other than it does is a perfectly reasonable experience, because for the intuitive, regardless of type, there's a sense that there are meanings to be understood. And depending on the type, it can either be prior to.
Another misconception is that we only care about like the traditions and norms of society, because, which I don't think is necessarily true, because when I think that something is
Yeah, whatever I was saying there.
You're saying the angst of 25 to 30-year-olds wanting life figured out,
especially
meanings.
If you're an intuitive, right? Because you come out of a system that's not designed for intuitives, namely school, and you find yourself in adulthood with expectations from society, expectations you internalize, and expectations you develop for yourself, and all sorts of different understandings of what you're supposed to be with no clear, definitive purpose. Like Janelle was talking earlier about Christianity and the role that it has in her life. She comes from apparently a Christian background, and so she's been presented that this is the framework through which she should purpose all of her action and her manifestation of the self. She's kind of rejected that framework or found it lacking, inadequate to provide directed purpose for her purposes. And I think that's the situation for a lot of people who are no longer kids. They're over 18 or so, and they're not really full blast adults. They're under like 35 maybe. I don't know. It depends how quick you mature. Some people mature a lot quicker than others. I mature, obviously, extremely slowly. I consider myself probably less mature than all of the younger people who come here and talk to me in general. No, none of you guys is wearing a ridiculous hat.
Oh, we can change that.
So,
and my post-it hat behind me.
Oh no!
Anybody want to talk about existential angst? There we go. Audra, you're winning right now. You're totally winning. I'm going to have to give it to Audra. Audra wins. Oh, that's an excellent effort, Zach. You get honorable mention.
Thank you. I'll take it.
So, now, does this give our lives purpose enough?
It's an important
It is enough purpose for all of our lives?
I'm a man of many hats.
Hats are important.
Talk to me about purpose.
Come on.
Who understands what their purpose in life is?
No purpose.
My purpose is to not have a purpose.
Can't wish for more wishes.
It's not good.
Oh, all right.
Oh, nice.
Susie? It's a toss-up. I really like Audra's paper. The medium of paper as a hat gives her a pretty special advantage there. But the bunny ears on Susie, now there's a contrast you're not going to see every day.
There's light in them.
I know. You got a halo of bunniness about you. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and make a bold claim here that fun with hats is not enough to purpose your entire life around.
Tell that to a hatter.
Good point. Any other thoughts that might be slightly more informative than that? Come on, it's your existential angst. Make us feel it.
Do not be overly concerned or paralyzed with existential angst at any given moment. That sounds like a decent, way to roll.
I just live it out. I externalize it all. It's like, I love the way that INFJs do the existential angst thing. Though. Is it angst or angst? I was working with this INFJ at a restaurant last summer, and she was like 29 or 30, and she was like, had just come back from like 8 years in Australia or something. She was like, and for some reason she would talk to me about it because she figured I was like one of the only ones who would already get it. She's like, I just don't know, like why my friends sort of have me around, like I'm funny, or they laugh at things I say, but I don't know what I'm doing with my life or anything. Like, people are like having kids or whatever. I don't know what to do. And I was like, I don't know either. So I just do whatever. But it's fun.
This question of why people like us, I think, is hugely important to ENTPs. I want, yeah.
Huh?
What? Okay, I'll be on, yeah. The question of why people like us is very important to ENTPs. I find myself asking people that when I feel close enough to them to feel comfortable asking that. Why do you like me? It baffles me, and I think it probably deep down baffles every ENTP. We really want to know that you like us, but we don't understand exactly what that means, and we want you to explain it to us in ways we can understand. Like, we provide concrete benefits to you. Okay, well, good. Then I understand why you like me, and I can keep providing those benefits to make sure you still like me.
But what is that placement of FE?
Placement of F5. We just don't understand. We don't get it. Like, I do not get it at all. Like, why is this person here? What did I do? What did I do to make myself worthy of this person coming over and hanging out with me or something?
So funny when I talked to my ESTP best friend from high school about that. Like, he came and visited, and I was like, "Why are we friends?" And he's like, "I don't know. I've been like trying to figure out that same thing. Like, why do we like each other? Like, why do we hang out? What do we offer each other?" And then like neither of us had an answer. He was like, "All right, cool."
Okay. Wait, let me just. I got 2 more multiple. You told me a 15-minute time frame. Give me my 15 minutes. I'll be out here before then. We're out here in 10. I think that's what makes ESTPs and ENTPs tragic. Is, you know, deep down, when you get to a more vulnerable spot, and they're not displaying particularly for any purpose, there's a fundamental lack of self-worth.
I think there's some element of belief in it where you're like, well, I have to trust that there's this thing that everyone else is sort of in on in FI. That I don't know.
What are we talking about?
They're fitted in with my new table, which is a very exciting table. If you prefer FE physical manifestation, the physical aspect of FE, then you're responsive in real time to people's cues because you value FE more. Yeah. Oh, no, I wasn't actually. Sorry, too bad now. It's too late.
Were you talking about FE with the metaphysical manifestation?
Well, in the metaphysical manifestation, it manages people's emotional response to you over time. But that's kind of not really possible because the approximation becomes such a weak predictor of anything that it's a meaningless representation of FI to say that FI is just FE over time, which is when you manifest perception management over time, you have to work with approximation. So you go, well, this is going to be perceived as blah, and it's going to have this impact upon people, and you probably don't really think it all out like that directly, but that's basically the long and short of it. And so what that means is you're seeing people's emotional responses as being non-individuated, really. You're saying, as a general group, people will respond to X as Y. And you may come to understand that there are sub-demographics, that this demographic will respond to X as Y, and this demographic will respond to X as Z. But it's still not about the individual's actual feeling about you per se, as per their own FI. It's like twice removed. It's an approximation of their outward indications of the FI that you use to make it manipulatable within a system rather than just responsive in the moment. Like Kimberly doesn't get FE very well in terms of managing social dominance and shit like that because he's always deferring to not making the wrong FE choice in the moment.
That's disgusting.
Okay, anything else for anybody? Every action matters. Says somebody.
You still have food on your mouth. I'm a corner of your mouth.
Right, well, who said every action matters?
I did.
Every action does matter.
I get caught up in that, like.
Go ahead, Janelle.
Well, yes, it does.
It doesn't make any
Just because you don't remember what happened when you were a baby or 1 year old does not mean it doesn't affect how you are today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's a matter of scope of mattering.
Yeah. Everything matters, but different things matter a lot more than other things. So.
Everything's nope.
Okay. So for example, I may go on the swings every day for 6 months. But the one day that I go on the swings and I get my leg chopped off is a much more significant impact than on each of the other occasions of going on the swings. And that's the one that's going to...
It doesn't matter. The other times you went on the swings didn't matter. It's just, she didn't say that every action is equal in how much it matters. saying that every action does matter in some way.
I would say that understanding FE as every action matters is prioritizing FEPH as opposed to FEME, which is you're saying, look, every action impacts the feelings of others, and that's a value in and of itself. And I'm saying every action impacts the feelings of others, and that's relevant to the extent that it manipulates those perceptions into what I want them to be, which is an
I never
approximation.
said anything about feelings. I'm just saying about the overall person, about what they're exposed to when they're younger, what they're learning, like every single day. I mean, it matters. Not saying I'm trying to make every day so concentrated with a bunch of stuff. Not saying that I'm even the best at giving them like good exposure to build their knowledge or whatever. But I still think that a lot of what is happening in the present has a significant effect as to how they will be in the future.
I kind of view people as like this sort of dynamic energy that every action or every sort of influence on that dynamic energy is going to manipulate it in some way. And obviously there's going to be larger impacts on that energy than, let's say, like going into the swings at one time and nothing happened. But like that energy is constantly being manipulated in some way. And so it's like constantly evolving. And it's not something that's static, but those actions, because it's something that's also dynamic, that's adding to the energy, like it is important because it's moving it somehow.
Okay, well, the static dynamic thing, my basic argument in terms of how that links in with the cognitive functions is that each cognitive function has a static manifestation or static aspect and a fluid aspect or dynamic aspect. And the difference between individuals can be determined by which one individuals think of as framework and which one of them individuals think of as contention level argumentation. So what you're displaying right now is preferring the real-time manifestation of it as framework. That is to say, abstraction serves your experience versus viewing it the other direction around, whether experience serves your abstractions. And so a lot of the differentiation within types, I think, can be explained via this set of subtypes that I'm generating here, which is basically, it's like it's whether or not you prioritize experiential or abstract for each of the functions you already experience. So I'm like any ME, Taylor's any PH, because he prioritizes the physical aspect of it, I prioritize the metaphysical aspect of it. As far as TI goes, I'm TI ME. I oppose empirics in favor of reasoning, and then TIPH is preferring empirics over reasoning, which is more like ISTP style or ESTP style TI. And then as far as FE goes, I prefer the metaphysical aspect of it, which means I render other people's emotions into static time objects and ignore the dynamism implicit in social relations in order to work with it on a time insensitive level, which allows me to strategize and be more tactical and stuff, right? But which also means it's more approximate and less actual than the experiential level of FE, which involves real-time response to real-time cues, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's much more other-focused in real time than is FE metaphysical form. And then with the SI, as far as I can tell, I value the physical SI and view the metaphysical SI as instrumental. Problem is, so too does Kimberly, which means neither of us is particularly scheduley. And that could be a bit of a problem, but we are getting everything handled. That's the thing I keep reminding myself. It's not as I imagined it to be in terms of like full blast, being on task, handling shit. But I realize that's why it's proper. That's why it's right. We get shit done and we're balanced in it anyway. We still play a lot. And she likes to play a lot too, That's important. Anyway, so I go NEME, TIME, FEME, SIPH. And and that's a different type than like Taylor, who's going to be NEPH, TIPH, FE, ME, and then SI, ME. I think. I'm not sure about the SI part, but I think so. And I think that those things probably link to one another in certain ways, such that if you're ME on one, you have to be PH on another in a similar fashion to the cognitive functions. But I haven't worked all that shit out yet. But I suspect that when I do work it all out, that these subtypes will hopefully explain things better than any existing taxonomy. We'll find out. You'll be able to buy the PDF. That's why I'm writing this book anyways. I have a PDF to sell, and that'll be an exciting day for us all. Who knows when that's going to happen? It could be a long time, but I keep pecking away at it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese, and meow meow meow.